And joining us today, great to welcome man who's written a book I know all dog lovers are going to want to get, and maybe if you're not a dog lover yet, you'll get a dog. It's called Team Dog, How to Train Your Dog the Navy SEAL Way. And we're joined by Mike Ritland on the telephone today. And Mike, good to talk to you. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good to have a chance to chat with you for a couple of minutes. Had an opportunity to read through the book. I saw you had a nice write-up in the New York Post the other day, so you're getting some good publicity for this. I think a lot of people are interested in not only dogs, but how to train in the proper way. This is kind of a unique way you have of doing it.
I appreciate that. I'm happy to share, with the listeners, kind of the approach that I've taken over the last 15 years, and I've gained a lot of insight in terms of, the relationships that I see that go really well and the similarities, and then the relationships that are not so desirable and the similarities that people have between those. And I think it's an important note to recognize that whether you're training dogs for the battlefield or just trying to get better obedience and more control out of a house pet, the principles from how you get to point A to point B are essentially the exact same.
Yeah, and just to give a quick overview. From what you talk about in the book, dogs really want somebody to lead them, right? They don't really want to be in charge necessarily. If you're not in charge, they're going to take charge, but they prefer to have you be in charge of them, right?
Absolutely. I can literally count on one hand the amount of truly dominant dogs that I've come across in the last 20 years. Dogs that no matter what you did, they felt like it was their place to run the show, and they were all, military type dogs. So, generally what happens is, if you see a dog that's being a little bit dominant or, resource aggressive or guardian, that nature, it's a simple matter of there's a power vacuum, a leadership vacuum inside that household, and even though the dog doesn't necessarily want to take the reins, he will because somebody has to, and he realizes that nobody else is. So, that's kind of step one to establishing the hierarchy, if you will, inside your household is just carrying yourself a certain way. The best analogy I can give is that, if you went into a job interview and you interacted with your potential future boss the same way that you interact with your dog, how would that interview go? And most people's answer is, well, it would go horribly wrong. Well, that is why you have the problems that you do with your dog, is that you're presenting yourself in a manner in which the dog perceives you as being not the guy running the show. However it is that you present yourself, that's how they're going to perceive you. So by knowing that, that we're very visual, very verbal in the way that we communicate, you have to use your body to communicate to dogs. They're overwhelmingly nonverbal communicators, and they recognize, appreciate, and respect, a stoic nature, somebody that exudes confidence, that has an air about them that, is very calm, very confident, and just exudes leadership. And so, if you take that frame of reference and keep that in the forefront of your mind all the time, that sets the tone for everything else and makes all the other aspects of training much, much more conducive.
Yeah, just from my experience watching people with their dogs, particularly down here in Sarasota, a lot of people walk their dogs around in public. Nothing wrong with it necessarily, but they seem to treat their dogs more like their children now, as opposed to they're in charge and they're talking to them like they're little people. They're not.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about you saying that is that even that, I hear that analogy a lot, is that, don't treat it like your children. From my perspective, if you're treating your children the right way, then you can treat them like children.
Right.
I mean, to me, there are a ton of similarities between raising young kids and raising dogs, and that, there has to be boundaries, there has to be rules, there has to be a hard but fair mentality. I am a parent, and I can tell you that, it's not that I don't have fun with my kids and be silly and goof off with them, but that's not the staple of our relationship, number one. And number two, it's absolutely not something that you should do until that hierarchy is established, and that pecking order is kind of set to where everybody in the household understands where everybody sits on that totem pole. And so, once that's established, yes, you should absolutely have fun and goof off and have almost puppy-like behavior with your dog and have fun and relieve stress. Enjoy yourself. It's a great, relationship builder. However, an example would be, if I say, hey, kids, I need you to go up, clean your room, and get ready to go to school. And they say, no, let's play tag instead. And I say, yeah, okay, yeah, screw it, let's play tag. Then that sets a horrible example. And a lot of people interact with their dogs that way. They mistake wanting their dogs to like them for wanting their dogs to respect them. And there's a disparate difference between those two things. It's something that I hear all the time. I spoil my dog rotten. I take him on walks all the time. I give him lots of treats. I let him sleep on my bed, and he doesn't listen to me at all. Well, the reason is because he loves that attention, that affection, but he absolutely does not respect it. And so you have to strike a happy medium. There's got to be some balance there. Again, I can't stress enough. I'm not saying don't have fun with your dogs and goof off and be silly, but again, that can't be the staple. It can't be the mainstay. It has to be the icing on the cake. That's the reward for the dog doing a job well done, just like with children.
Yeah, I guess when you just look into those, the dogs look at you like they're understand you. People forget they don't really understand words. They can associate words, but they don't understand what you're saying. So,
right.
Just telling them what to do, you have to show them what to do, or non-verbally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, if you remember, you can't explain anything to a dog. You have to show them. They have to learn. And so it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's how you're carrying yourself when you say it. And it's that context that dogs feed off of more than the command itself by a large margin. So, the book outlines all of these principles. It talks about, nonverbal communication and reinforcing desired behaviors, extinguishing unwanted behaviors, how to select a puppy, how to select a shelter dog, putting compiling all the factors and doing your research and figuring out what's the best fit for you, what you have time for. Also the importance of mental and physical stimulation as well as nutrition. Just like with people, if we sit at our desk all day long, eat fast food, never exercise, never go outside, there's going to be a crankiness, a mental acuity, lack thereof, and an inability to learn at our maximum capacity, a cabin fever mentality, and so with dogs, they need to be fed good food, they need to be kept at an ideal body weight, they need to be exercised and stimulated and things of that nature. So when you put all of those things together, it becomes very, very easy. Just like with every other aspect in your life, you should always strive to manage the intangibles that you actually have control of to set yourself up for success. No different than running a household, running a business, going to school, maintaining personal relationships. It's all the same principles in that, if you stack the deck in your favor, you're obviously going to be much more likely to succeed. And a lot of people don't do that. When it comes to a dog, they think it's instead of saying treating it like a child, I see people treating it like it's a stuffed animal.
Right.
Or like it's a cartoon character, like it's a fictitious being, and the same rules of basic animal psychology absolutely apply to our companions as much as any other animal or even ourselves.
Just funny when you see people, they think they're talking to another little person, but it isn't. And a well-trained dog is a happier dog too. I think they have a better life.
Absolutely.
They have some structure, right?
Yeah. They're creatures of habit, and they do much more. It's much more conducive to have a structured, well-maintained environment for them.
Name of the book is called Team Dog: How to Train Your Dog, the Navy SEAL Way. We've been talking with Mike Ritland today. You're also the founder of the Warrior Dog Foundation, great organization there. And do you want to give out a website, Mike? People get a hold of you or the book?
Sure. Trikos.com, TRIKOS.com is my website. WarriorDogFoundation.org is the foundation, and Team Dog is available through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any of the major book retailers.
Great, Mike. Pleasure to talk to you. Good to have a chance to read through the book. It's going to help a lot of people, and hopefully we can talk to you again. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or DougMilesMedia.com.